Welcome to another episode, everyone. Weapons in prison. How do they make these weapons? What kind of weapons are used in a maximum security prison? Are weapons even necessary? Are weapons always necessary on a level 4 yard? The answer is yes. Weapons, unfortunately, are necessary if you have aspirations at self-preservation. Now, there are different ways people make weapons there in a maximum security prison. They make weapons in every prison, but the most dire prisons, the most extreme prisons would be the level 4s. And here on the level 4 yards, for the most part, the incarcerated people aspire to just use bone crushers. On a level 4 yard, they don't like using gimmicks and gadgets to come up with their weapon to violate and abuse you, to erase you if necessary. They just go for straight bone crushers on a level 4 yard. Oftentimes, they get these bone crushers from the kitchen. This is no secret. There's a lot of metal in the kitchen. In high desert, we used to go on lockdown every other day. And the reasoning for the lockdown was for the security of the prison. Because according to the administration, something came up missing there in the kitchen. Some sort of piece of metal. Stuff comes through the kitchen all of the time. Let them tell it. Something came up missing. Oftentimes, it was just an excuse to lock us down and search the entire prison, or at least a yard. And they would lock us down constantly and search our cells, claiming that some sort of metal, which is a threat to the institution, if someone has that metal in their possession now, and they lock us down. Because oftentimes, this is where people try to get the weapons from, is the kitchen, their homeboy working there or whatever, and you pass the metal through there. From there, it's on you to sharpen the metal, to know how to get the metal back to your cell and sharpen it. Oftentimes, people will sharpen it down there on the concrete floor of their cell, but you can hear it real good. So if it's quiet in there and you're in there scraping to sharpen your weapon, your neighbor, your downstairs neighbor, everyone can hear it and they know exactly what you're in there doing. So now people have improvised and found other ways to sharpen their weapon. This is in the maximum security. There are other ways to get weapons, bone crushers, there on the maximum security yard. But for the most part, this is how they get them. They tear a piece of the bunk inside of their cell, a piece of the locker, or a piece of the bunk, a piece of the whole bunk, a big old piece of the bunk, and then sharpen it. And they always wrap the end of the weapon up with something, a sheet more than likely, to grip it, to give yourself a handle. When you see these videos and you see a lot of the weapons that have been retrieved or confiscated there in prison after a search or what have you, you will find that most of these weapons have a handle on them. This is so that you don't cut yourself, because they're not a traditional knife, so they don't come with a handle. You have to improvise and make your own. There are other prisons that you will land where there are not any or many bone crushers. In this case, you have to come up with your own weapon in order to survive. What do you do in this sort of situation where the knives are not plentiful and you have to play MacGyver and make something quickly to protect yourself? Back in the days when they had the canned goods, people would just simply tear the top of the canned good, the tuna, the fish, the soup, the kipper snapper, whatever, the mackerel, and sharpen up the best they can the top of the canned good. And they come up from behind you and slice your throat. This is why they stopped the canned goods from coming in years ago. Now, And for a while, you couldn't even get none of this stuff, tuna, mackerel, and all this, because they stopped the canned good. And then they found a way finally to start putting it in pouches. The tuna, mackerel, chili beans, all this, it comes in pouches now, and you can now have it in prison again. But for a while, they had stopped it because it was coming through in cans, big ass cans of chili beans, what have you. And people, when they finished eating them, would either burn down the canned good and sharpen it and put a handle on it, or take the top of the canned good, the tuna, the mackerel, come up from behind you and slice your throat until you bleed out. And so they confiscated that. But now that they don't have the canned goods, people oftentimes will use a razor. If you're in a situation, we're talking about a situation now where you're not on a level 4 yard, you're not maximum security, and you have to improvise because there are not that many weapons there, there are not that many knives there. When you get to a level 4 yard, the knives are going to be plentiful. Someone's going to hand you one if you need one and say, here you go. Be safe. Everyone has a knife on a level 4 yard, but you hit these level 3 yards, level 1 yard, level 2 yard, and you have to improvise when there's smoke in the air and you need to protect yourself in this situation. Again, many people will come up with a razor blade. You still can get razors there in prison to shave your face. Pop the razor open, get your razor, and come out and slice your face. And oftentimes, these razors do much more damage than a bone crusher. Because now you're going to be scarred for life. Your whole face is opened up, look like a piece of fish. Now, for the most part, the razors are used in the Los Angeles County Jail. But they use them sometimes there in prison also in the county jail because you don't necessarily have access to the same type of bone crushers that the individuals in prison have access to, not in the Los Angeles County Jail. Now and then you'll find people with knives, but no bone crushers like that. But everyone on the maximum security yard and on the prison yard has that, has a bone crusher. So in the Los Angeles County Jail, people would improvise for the most part and come up with the razor and slice you with that. But there in prison, again, they sort of frown upon this. At least on the maximum security yard, they don't want any razors. They don't want any gadgets. They don't want no battery packs. They don't want no soap to go upside your head with. They don't want none of this. They want a straight bone crusher only to drive through you. They want something that's going to go in one way and out the other. That's it. But on these other yards, where you have to improvise and the bone crushers are not readily available, well, people have been known to then get a razor, get some soap, big bars of soap. You want some big, hard bars of soap. And back in the day, people would put it inside of a sock or big batteries. You used to be able to get big batteries for your radio. Put it inside of a sock and come up, had a sock in their pocket, whatever, come up and swing it at it. Call it a battery pack. Come up and swing it at your head and knock your head wide open with the battery pack, because these things are heavy, and if they swing it at 100 miles an hour, it's man down. But the sock has a bit of a drawback, people begin to learn, because of the elasticity in there. And so when you swing it, it'll swing back at you. The sock, it goes down like that, and swing it and come back, and some people will swing it and get hit themselves. So it's best in that case to use a shirt to put a sock in, to put batteries in, soap, or a pillowcase, because it doesn't have that elasticity, it doesn't have that drawback. And when they had baseballs back in the day, some prisons still have baseball games, and they had bats right there on the yard. And softballs, same scenario. Put the softball, baseball inside of a sock. In this case, I would advise a pillowcase and go upside someone's head with that. People also make weapons out of shampoo bottles, bowls. You get plastic bowls, shampoo bottles, etc. You take it, you get the razor, you cut the shampoo bottle into a certain angle to give yourself a nice little long piece. You sharpen it down, you burn it down, you burn it. You make a wick, toilet paper that's going to stay lit for some time where you can get that flame on it, and you melt it down. Put a handle on it, and it's going to be sharp there at the end. Came from a bowl, a cup, a bottle. Also, a cup itself. You get the cup is plastic, but it's big and it's hard that you get there in prison from the child hall. And people have been known to put their finger right through that little hole, grip that cup, bam, it hits you right in the eye with it, hits you right in the head. It's going to split something open. You take your brush. A lot of dudes in there got brushes. They got waves. Grip that brush, them big hard wooden brushes. You kidding me? Boom, bam. It's a wrap. You're going down. And so there are many ways when you don't have access to a bone crusher, such as these maximum security prisons, that you get somewhere and you need to improvise to protect yourself. This is not a video advocating for violence. This is just letting you know what it is there in prison, and that oftentimes you will need to protect yourself whether you like it or not. And in those situations, you're going to have to improvise in order to protect yourself. And I'm just giving you different ways to do so should it come to that. Hopefully, it never does. And so you just get inside of your cell and you look for things to burn or sharpen. People use a deodorant. Same scenario, and it's a vehicle, and it serves the same purpose as a cup or a brush. You get it, it's hard, it's thick, you grip it, bam, and you hit someone in the head with it. A pen, a writing pen that has the sharp end, the ballpoint. Yes, people have taken people's eye out with a pen. Again, you can't get to a weapon. Or there have been situations where you don't want to carry a weapon because you get caught with these bone crushers. You catch a court case, you get 5 years, 6 years, 7 years, you go to the hole, all of this. And there's no funk going on in the yard. You don't want to just be walking around with a knife necessarily. So you might just want to have something else that it acts as a weapon, but it doesn't resemble one, such as a pen. You can walk around with that on the yard all day. The police pull you over, search you just have a writing pen. Nothing wrong with that. But the whole time you have it on your person, because if someone comes at you, you can use this pen as a weapon. And you're safe from the authorities. So it's a double bonus. And you take that pen and you put tape around it there at the end. This is your handle. This serves for your grip. Just put regular tape around there. Duct tape is what you're looking for. They have it in prison sometimes. And you just get the duct tape. You wrap it around that pen, around the handle so that you'll get a grip. Bam, bam. And hit somebody in the eye. It's a wrap, man down. And this is how you protect yourself. They're in prison. And this is how some of the weapons are made. Shampoo bottles, bowls, plastic, cups, razors. It used to be the top of the canned good, slice your throat, a pen. But for the most part, people just have bone crushers there on the foyard. They get them from their bunk, their locker. You see them working on their locker. How do you tear up your locker? They find a way to cut through it and get a piece and cover it up with something so as to disguise the fact that a piece of the locker is missing. But the police come through and do searches looking for this, looking for something missing that's inside of your cell that you could have used for a weapon. So it's a cat and mouse game, but people still do it, cut their bunks up or what have you to get a bone crusher. Better to be caught with it than caught without it is often the mentality there on a level 4 yard. And so on a level 4 yard, oftentimes you don't have to worry about a weapon maximum security, getting a weapon, how you're going to get one. There's going to be one there for you. It's going to be plentiful. They're going to force one on you damn near. You don't have to worry about a weapon in the maximum security yard. They'll teach you how to make one and give you the material. Have you practice. After giving you a weapon ready-made, they still want to see you cultivate making the weapons yourself. But on a level 1, 2, and 3 yard, and again, you can't get to a bone crusher and you need to improvise, there are some of the ways that you do it to protect yourself, go up movement. I'm not advocating violence, but I want you all to be safe. The safest way to stay away from violence, of course, is to stay free. People.